Alright guys, welcome back to another Madden 23 Lions franchise video, and this week we are playing an important game in the division against the Packers, who are 4-4. We are 5-3. We are leading the division currently, so if we were to lose this game to the Packers, they would take over the control of the division and have the number one spot to make the playoffs. So we have a couple things to look at before we get into the game. First, we have a tandem breakout on offense, and Cooper Kupp just had an insane performance, having 177 receiving yards. And Jameson clearly wants to have a crazy game as well. We're going to go ahead and challenge him. I think that he could have a crazy performance against the Packers. And so what do we need him to get? We need him to get, let's see, so he's earned 2,500, and we want to get him over 150 receiving yards for the game, which is definitely doable. It would definitely be force-feeding him the ball with how we kind of spread it out. But we just need to limit the turnovers, and that's kind of what killed us in the Cardinals game. Having those 3 turnovers with Jake Zimmer, throwing some inaccurate passes. But aside from the fact that we need to get him 150 yards, now they're talking about Debo. We're going to talk trash about the Packers. You know, I don't mind it. We just had a game against the Cardinals where we're angry that we lost to the Cardinals. We want to force 3 turnovers on defense. I think it's possible. And the problem with trying to get 150 yards, though, for Jameson is that apparently there's going to be heavy rain in this game. There's going to be heavy rain. And so we are going to commit to passing the ball. Normally we would commit to running it, but we already said that Jameson, we want to get him 150 receiving yards. So that means we're going to have to throw the ball a good amount. And going and looking at players to renegotiate with, we have Colby Parkinson, who has come up and become available to re-sign. He has no interest in re-signing with the team, which is heartbreaking to see, but we're going to see if we can convince him otherwise. And he is, to me, an important part of this team, despite the fact that he does not play very much. I'd like to re-sign him for 4 years, and he's going to do it. So we clearly overpaid, but I like to keep the continuity on the team as much as possible, so I'm willing to overpay a little bit to keep players on the team if they don't have interest. And one more thing before we get into the game. Well, I guess we have to look at 2 more things, but the first thing is Stephen Murphy, our amazing 5'5" running back who was on our practice squad, who was not going to see much playing time for us, was poached off the practice squad, unfortunately, and signed to the Broncos' active roster. I hate to see it. We traded for him for like a 3rd and a 5th round pick, along with Moses Brackett, and neither of those players have really turned out to be anything integral to our roster. Doesn't mean that they won't in the future, but right now they have really not done much for us in the special teams game or just offensively. And so it's tough to see him go because we gave up a lot to actually get him. But we're going to go ahead and just move forward with the players that we have on the roster. And we're going to go ahead and take a look actually at the stats that we have at the midway point of the season. So midway through the season, Jake Zimmer with 16 TDs and 11 picks. And before that game against the Cardinals, Jake Zimmer had 15 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions. It was looking pretty solid. Was starting to get back on track of where I wanted him to be. But unfortunately, that last game did happen. We can't erase it. And his completion percentage is fantastic. The amount of yards he's throwing for is is his career high in his second year. But the interceptions is something that we have to keep. Ideally, I'm looking to keep it below what he had last season. And last season he had 15 interceptions, and we want to keep it below that number to show positive progression in reducing turnovers. Rushing the football, Lionel Hebert, averaging 40 yards rushing per game. We want to see that number boosted up into the 50s, 60s, or 70s. 2 rushing touchdowns so far, and Brian Jackson has been absolutely poaching all of his rushing touchdowns in the red zone, which is, partially my fault putting him in those situations. But you can see that Hebert has twice as many carries as Jackson, but Jackson almost has as many yards, and that's just because Jackson averages a lot more yards per carry than Hebert does. And Jackson also has 5 rushing touchdowns to Hebert's 2. Cooper leads the team in receiving yards. After having that 177 receiving yard game, he's up to 75 per game with 4 touchdowns. Brian Jackson's at 53 per game with 5 touchdowns. And Quentin Posey's at 48 per game with 5 TDs. Spreading it out a lot more than we used to. Jameson has started to actually catch up a little bit, up to 42 receiving yards. He was down around 20 to start the season off. But he's caught up a little bit, still with 0 TDs, which is unusual for him. In his first couple seasons, taking a look at his stats, he had 9 and 8, so he is way behind where he normally would be at. So we're going to see if we can catch him up to that. I think it's partially because Brian Jackson and Quentin Posey have developed as players, and so that has kind of eaten into Jameson's normal sort of touches on the team. But Calvin Austin with 1 TD, Antoine Andrews with 1 TD. Again, love to see Antoine Andrews get more touches, but unfortunately he is still injured. Looking at the defense, leading the team in tackles is Isaiah Simmons with Christian Harris right next to him. Baron Browning pretty high up there as well. Leading the team in tackles for loss, Trey Hendrickson. And then also in sacks is Trey Hendrickson as well. Sean Hazelwood has absolutely exploded after, kind of being a disappointment to start off the season. Now at 4.5 sacks. DeMarcus Lawrence at 2.5. Isaiah Simmons still at 2. Nate Vasher and Dontrell Parker each at 1. And Baron Browning at half of a sack. Interceptions, Surtain is at 5. Tariq is at 4, having a great season. Baron Browning is at 1. And Christian Harris is at 1. And then looking at forced fumbles, Patrick Surtain's at 2. Surprisingly, tying the team with Isaiah Simmons, Tariq, Baron Browning, Sean Hazelwood, Nate Vasher, Nathan Walls, and Ryan Neal, each coming in with 1 as well. And then looking at defensive touchdowns, Patrick Surtain with 3, Tariq with 2, and Baron Browning with 1. And then I'm kind of curious also looking at tackles to see what Nathan Wall's stats are looking like. He missed a couple of games, still only 2 tackles for loss, not getting on the board with sacks or interceptions, but he does have that 1 forced fumble. But I'd like to see more out of him, kind of playing that nickel spot. But we'll see how he kind of goes throughout the rest of the season. Along with, I'd like to see more of an impact from Damon Clark as well, who is playing a lot in base 3-4 packages. But that is pretty much everything in terms of the stats we're going to be looking at. Taking a quick look at the yearly awards, Josh Allen's number 1. We have no one up there in the top 10. Marco Keaton's at number 9. Usually it's obviously a quarterback award, but I guess Jake Zimmer does not rank up there. Offensive Player of the Year, Brian Jackson's at number 4. That is surprising considering he's not on the field full time. He is a backup. Defensive Player of the Year, I think it's because of all of his touchdowns. Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain's at number 5. Trayvon Walker's at number 1, which makes sense. His stats right now are insane. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Brian Jackson's at number 1. And then, they have a couple NFC East players. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sean Hazelwood's at number 2 right now. I'd love for him to win that to help his development. Otis Benedict from the Bears is at number 5. And that's it. Best quarterback. I gotta find a way to get Jake Zimmer into the top 10 conversation for best QB. Best running back, Brian Jackson's at number 2 on the best running backs list. Wow. I did not expect him to be all over the boards like this. Best wide receiver, we have nobody, surprisingly. I guess that's because we have so many people that are involved. Best O-line, we've got a couple of players. Best D-line, we got Trey Hendrickson up there, which is nice to see. I was hoping to see Sean Hazelwood as well, but technically he is a linebacker. So he's going to be at number 4 for linebackers, which is nice. Best DB, Surtain's number 1. Tariq is number 3, which is great. And I was hoping to see Isaiah Simmons, but he is not on there. All right, before our game, we have a couple of upgrades as well. Nathan Wall's getting an upgrade, bringing him up to a 77 overall. And I'm going to boost up actually his run support, which is still going to get him there. Want him to continue to be able to play linebacker. Ideally, that would have boosted some man or zone for him, but boosted his press, tackle, play rec, and awareness. And still, he's getting very close to determining what his development is. Most likely, it's going to be star. Because, well, actually, wait, hold on. 99 injury is very good. That's great to see. But yeah, most likely going to have star development, but we'll see. Dontrell Parker getting an upgrade. We're going to boost him up. His power rush. Done pretty well this season so far. Only 1 sack, but has done a good job in run support. But look at that. We see an ability slot, which means he at least has superstar development, which I actually was not expecting out of him. But that is a huge bonus for us. He's not that high of an overall, and looking at his stats specifically, he only has 6 tackles on the season with 1 sack starting, and he was taken as our 17th pick in the draft, but the fact that he's going to be superstar at least is a huge bonus because we are so weak at D tackle. So knowing that he's going to be the future D tackle is fantastic. Jackson Carman getting an upgrade, boosting him up to a 72 overall. He is our backup left guard for Joel Bitonio. And we're going to go ahead and get into the game. Looking at the Packers for the first time this season, they still have Geno Smith at QB. It looks like, I thought they had drafted somebody. but maybe there was an injury or something. George West is the rookie quarterback. That's our second stringer, 22 years old. Only a 67 overall, but yeah, Geno is currently the starter. David Montgomery at halfback, along with Jonathan Springs, the backup, who is a rookie, 22 years old, 93 speed. Looks like he's going to be really good. And then at wide receiver, Debo still, Rondell Moore, KJ Hamler, Nelson Aguilar, and Enrique Bruce, who is a rookie as well, 78 overall with 93 speed at 6'5", an absolute beast. Would love to see him out on the field a little bit, but he is down in the depth chart behind Nelson Aguilar and KJ Hamler, which makes no sense. Tyler Conklin at tight end with Monty Pemberton as the backup. The offensive line is looking pretty good. Their center, who is a second-year player, is 79 overall. Their D-line, they have Max Harrison, 22 years old, second-year player, 77 overall right end. Kenny Clark, obviously fantastic. They also have a good set of linebackers. Khalil Mack at right outside linebacker still. Stephon Gilmore, Dwight Davis, the second-year player. That we kind of ripped on him a little bit for their pick when they drafted him, but he has turned out to be very good. 96 speed, almost up to an 80 overall at 24 years old. Isaiah Rogers, and then Isaac Yidium. Antoine Winfield at free safety, and Jordan Poyer at strong safety. On the return, and they just kick it out of bounds, which is very odd. Again, guys, this is a rain game, and we need to get Jameson 150 receiving yards in this game. We've committed to passing the football, and we're going to set up our first play to get Jameson involved. On a little play action, shot play with Jameson on a crosser here, and we have enough time to get it off. We throw it underneath. Jameson holds on to it, and that is a great start. 15 yards for Jameson on his first catch. Only need 9 more of those plays, basically. Again, we haven't been force-feeding the ball to Jameson much this season. We've been getting the ball moved around to a lot of different players. Brian Jackson has eaten into some of Jameson's targets. Ramondre with a one-on-one carry, getting tackled for only a gain of 1. On 2nd and 9, we get Brian Jackson in the backfield. A little bit of a late ball there to Calvin Austin, but he's still able to hold on to it. We fit it in down to the 24-yard line, running a little no-huddle. Again, Jackson in the backfield. We're going to go ahead and try to turn him into a weapon, sending him out wide. And again, trying to find ways to get Jameson the football. And trying to look for Jameson. He's not really there. Quentin Posey moving downfield. Sets a good block. A big hit taken on by Jake Zimmer at the 5-yard line, but gets down. Looks like it might be man. We're trying to scramble out, not take a sack, and unfortunately we cannot get the ball away, and we do take a sack down at the 19-yard line. And Jameson's been looking to have a big game, coming off the performance that Cooper Kupp had with 180 receiving yards in our previous game, and he's open in the seam, but he drops it on the hit from, it looks like Antoine Winfield. It's going to be 3rd and goal. Again, we see Julio out there. I'd love to see Julio back on the field. Looks like it could be a cover 2 look. Again, Julio in the seam, but we face pressure. It's bad accuracy, and it gets intercepted on what was a wide open receiver by Steffens. Now the Packers have the ball at the 32-yard line. Again, we had a receiver open, but we got hit as we were making the throw to Julio. All right, 1st and 10 from the 32. Geno back on the field with his crazy amount of weapons. David Montgomery getting tackled down at the 33 for only a gain of 1. And we've added some new defensive formations that we might be trying out a little bit, trying to get different players onto the field. We have a large variety of kind of unique players that can fit into different roles, and I want to see another run play here from Montgomery, and we try to get over there. Christian Harris cannot get there, though. They pick up the 1st down. On 1st and 10, we're in 4-6 right now. And they're running it again with Montgomery, and we have multiple defenders down. They're taking him after a gain of 3 to the ground. In 4-4 now, and it's another run play to Montgomery, and we've got everybody up there. It's going to be 3rd and 8 in cover 3. We got to watch the corner route. Throwing the one-on-one to Tariq, and Tariq gets the free interception. A bad throw by Geno again, trying to follow our blockers. Tariq falls down eventually at the 27-yard line, but a good interception from Tariq Woolen, getting us back on offense, and hopefully into a position now where we don't have to, get another bad turnover off of, some pressure. And, it's hard to determine if it's Jake Zimmer's fault or it's just poor blocking from the offensive line. that is hurting us at the most important times. When we're in the red zone especially, we're getting a lot of turnovers lately. And it seems like, yeah, a lot of it is coming off of pressure at the last second when we're about to make our throws. We got Juszczyk, and just a really inaccurate ball to Juszczyk. Didn't really have a chance anyways. Juszczyk didn't get separation on the play to make it 3rd and 12. Going into a little empty here, and they got no linebackers over the middle, so we're going to go ahead and try a QB draw. We could do a pass play here, but the passes have been just absolutely terrible. Jake Zimmer does take it for the first down. A great run by him. Hold on to the football, not fumbling, which has also been an issue, and definitely can be an issue in their rain as well. It's 1st and 10 now. We got Posey over the middle, wide open. And it feels like the Packers were not ready for that play. Going no huddle again, trying to speed them up a little bit. Again, I feel like we have great success against this defense, despite the fact that they are good. Jameson with a nice catch, down to the 20. Again, continuing to speed up. The problem is when they get pressure, but if we get them a little fatigued on the line, then I think we have a good chance. Jameson getting in the end zone for the touchdown. And yeah, speeding him up there kept them from getting some pressure on Jake Zimmer, and it was a whole lot easier to score. Just going, empty and just rushing down the field, scoring that touchdown. Taking a 7-0 lead now, and the Packers got to come back out and make up for that really bad pass thrown by Geno, that, kind of just jump ball. Oh, and we missed the PAT. I don't know how he missed the PAT. I thought that was perfectly accurate. Having some weird issues so far in this game. Only with a 6-0 lead now, and Jameson is still up to 40 receiving yards. Again, that's something we want to keep in the back of our mind, is making sure that he gets that 150 receiving yard mark despite the rain in Green Bay. But, of course, the most important thing is winning this game, and so far we have shut down David Montgomery pretty well in our first couple of possessions. Now in 4-6, trying some different, first and second down coverages to mix things up a little bit. Christian Harris in coverage. Gotta watch over the top. Another interception. This time, DeMarcus Lawrence with the pick in coverage. Something that you don't usually see. Maybe his first interception on the Lions franchise. He does not drop into coverage often at all. Geno throwing it off his back foot. I'm not sure what he's thinking. These last 2 passes he's made have been terrible. But Christian Harris doing a great job in coverage there, covering everything over the middle. And that's why I feel more comfortable running, some defenses where we have more than 3 or 4 linebackers on the field, because Christian Harris is basically a safety. Nathan Walls is also like a pseudo-safety linebacker. We've got players that can make these kinds of plays and run these coverages. And again, Christian Harris has very high man coverage for a linebacker. Trying to pitch it off, but we weren't able to get off in time. It says it's going to be 3rd and 10. On 3rd and 10, we're going to bring Posey over, and we're going to send Austin on a go. We're running a little flood concept on the left side. Posey getting open underneath, able to get the first down, and fight off a couple defenders, getting up to the 16-yard line. Again, going to go no huddle here. Going to try to continue to keep the defense off balance. And so far, it's been working pretty well. Nothing is really open here. Trying to throw it away, and we do take the sack. That was just a coverage sack right there. We have yet to really get Brian Jackson involved so far in the first quarter. We're going to give him a run play here. Looks like there's only one linebacker really over the line of scrimmage. We did not follow the run like we were supposed to. We got baited a little bit into cutting back to the right. Looked like some over pursuit by the linebacker, who quickly adjusted. Instead, it's going to be 3rd and 23 to start the second quarter. We're going to send Brian Jackson out wide, run this like it's empty, with Posey right on the line. We're going to send him on a go as well. That could be beating zone coverage. We're going to send Jameson on a slant. Yeah, Jameson underneath, and it's an overthrown ball again. Why was that so lofted? I don't know. Finally, Brian Jackson and Jake Zimmer combining for the tackle on Stephon Gilmore. A really, really bad second pick by Jake Zimmer. Again, I'm not understanding why that was so underthrown, or why it was thrown so softly there. I tried to bullet it in, but it was just an overthrow right to Stephon Gilmore. It seems like Jake Zimmer just doesn't have a good grip of the ball. I don't even know what to say. 1st and 10. Play action. We're covering everything over the middle, and we get the sack with Trey Hendrickson. A great play getting that sack, because they were about to break open across the field with like 3 different crossing routes. Good job by Trey Hendrickson getting some pressure on that play. 2nd and 15 now. Dropping back into a zone blitz. We're watching over the middle. Underneath. A great tackle there. Making it 3rd and 16. And Geno now 1 for 3 for -1 yards. and 2 interceptions is obviously not what you want to see. But I've not seen Geno play this bad. Throwing it up again as a prayer. Surtain not able to pick it off this time. Instead, it's going to be incomplete, and they're going to be punting it away. But yeah, Geno looks completely lost out there. I'm not sure what they're doing at QB with the Packers. It seemed like they had drafted a quarterback that they wanted to start, but they haven't really been playing him at all. Brian Jackson on the return, getting to the edge, finally getting up to the 40-yard line. A good return by him on the punt. Don't get many punt returns. Usually results end in touchdowns or interceptions for us, it seems like. 1st and 10. Gonna let Hebert run it a little bit here again. Again, we gotta kind of pay attention to how we're using our offensive possessions, and so far, ending the drives in 2 interceptions has hurt our ability to kind of get Jameson where we want him to go in terms of yardage. But we got Jameson on the crosser, picking up the 1st down, getting down to the 34-yard line, and so far, most of our yards have gone to Jameson, and our 1 touchdown has as well. 1st and 10 here, running no huddle again. And I feel like we might want to switch our offensive strategy because running no huddle has typically ended in us throwing a pick the last couple of possessions. You might want to slow things down in the second half. 2nd and 7. We got Posey open. Oh, and we double pump. And instead we just take the sack, making it 3rd and 15. Wasn't really there to Posey on the corner route. On 3rd and 15, we're going to just try to get in field goal range if possible. We're going to bring Jameson over to the right side and see if he can beat man coverage, because it looks like it is man. If we have time, he's open across the field. A good accurate ball to Jameson, who holds it down to the 15-yard line, and he has been getting open in man consistently. Just got to make sure that we don't get like a slippery ball from Jake Zimmer. Trying to escape out, and it looks like we have a receiver wide open. We cannot get it to him, though. We take the sack instead for a loss of 1. 2nd and 11, we got Brian Jackson in the backfield. We're going to let him run for a play. Halfback counter, we got good blocks, getting inside. Again, Brian Jackson just has a nose for the end zone, getting big yards on that run, making it 3rd and inches. On 3rd and inches, Brian Jackson out left. We're going to actually put him out wide, have him on an out, and I expect Cooper to probably get open here. And Cooper is open underneath, holds onto it for the touchdown. We just had to wait for the zone to kind of separate on that play. Eventually, if we were patient enough, we got the touchdown to Cooper. Running a little 3-4 here. Base coverage has worked out pretty well against this team so far, despite the fact that they have some really good receivers. Another nice hit there by Baron Browning, making it 2nd and 8. They've been pretty dedicated to running the football so far, it seems, and they have not really made us pay throwing at all. Geno only has 1 completion for a loss, and it seems like they're getting Springs involved, their backup halfback. Kind of a weird name to say. But, yeah, like they've been just avoiding passing, and again, they're running it here. And finally, DeMarcus Lawrence with the tackle down, making it 4th and 5, and this almost seems like they're conceding this game right now. You know, we're up 13-0. It's going to be the 2-minute warning before the end of the first half. A very rainy game, and I understand that if it's raining, maybe you're going to focus more on just running the ball. But, you know, we saw in the NFC Championship game what only running the ball kind of looks like sometimes. You know, you're pretty one-dimensional. Brian Jackson on the return, getting it up to the 35. This is the most punt returns that Brian Jackson has had this entire season. And Jameson already up to 100 receiving yards in the game. Only need to get him 50 more to kind of complete that sort of goal, but we don't want to get too far away from the running game, of course. We've talked about this a couple times. Jake Zimmer on the keep. We're going to slide down and not take the hit from Stephon Gilmore. We want to continue to make sure we get Posey involved. We're sending Cooper Kupp out wide here, and it looks like it's straight up zone coverage, and it is. And just a really inaccurate pass to Cooper Kupp on the outside. It's going to be 3rd and 6, and we're going to send Posey on a slant here. I bet he can win this matchup one-on-one. And he does. Oh, but it's an inaccurate ball, throwing it way low. And we're going to have to punt the football with a minute left here. We had a receiver wide open. Again, Jake Zimmer having accuracy issues. Not able to deliver the ball where we want to. And wow, the weather is really bad. That was a horrible punt. Not for a lack of trying. I just like kind of spun sideways. And yeah, the weather is really having an impact on this game. I cannot lie. I've not seen a game like this recently. We're We're in sort of an aggressive pass rush defense here in cover 3, but it's out of... See, they're over the middle, trying to get the hit. Baron Browning misses it. But we're in 5-2 on that play, and they're going to probably try to speed us up here. They actually use a timeout. That's good because we want to get out of that formation. That was not going to work. We're in cover 6. We're watching stuff over the middle. Throwing it just down to the flat. So we're going to send a blitz off the left side with Ryan Neal, or with Eric Stokes, actually. We're watching stuff over the middle, and we do not get pressure. Gino completing the pass. Finally, Surtain able to take Aguilar down. Still in dime here. Setting pressure off of the left edge. Seeing if that can get through. Watching underneath, and it's going to be inaccurate from Gino, ending up being an incompletion. Oh, this is not good. Oh, throwing up the one-on-one. Tariq is right there for the easy interception, and just giving freebies out to Tariq Woolen. Tariq finally taken down at the 25. We're just going to run this one out because we already had to punt it away earlier off of some incompletions, and the rain has just affected our ability to throw the football down the field so much. Maybe we'll try a little slip screen here to Lionel Hebert. Does not get a lot of catches. Throwing it and able to complete the pass. Hebert doing a great job running after contact. 2nd and 3, and we're just going to let the time kind of go out here. We're going to give Hebert one more chance to run the football. Actually, they bite on it. At the one-on-one, Jake Zimmer getting taken down at the 32, and that'll be the end of the first half. We lead 13-0. Could be up by much more if we did not have a couple bad balls that resulted in picks and incompletions on crucial third down situations. But it's okay. We're going to go into the second half, and we're going to probably adjust our offensive and defensive schemes here a little bit, even though the defense has played phenomenally. All right, 1st and 10. Starting off with a little cover 1 blitz, and Montgomery going down at the 27-yard line. We're going to bring some pressure off of Ryan Neal in man coverage here, 2nd and 8. See if Ryan Neal can get something. And it's man coverage. Surtain misses the opportunity to potentially get a pick on the curl. It's going to be 1st and 10. And Montgomery's running the football. Good hit by Isaiah Simmons, though, making it 2nd and 9. Just absolutely popped David Montgomery there. Now in Tampa 2. Watching the run by Springs, who is taken down by Baron Browning. Making it 3rd and 9. On 3rd and 9. Watching the one-on-one. Tariq gets beat. And they got Debo out there. On the run by Springs. Springs cannot break the tackle from Christian Harris. And Springs, 4 carries, 0 yards. Doing a great job against the run so far, but they have been marching down the field ever so slowly, just grinding away. Making it 2nd and 13 on this play, though, now. Making it a little bit tougher for them. Bringing pressure off the edge. Going to drop back into coverage. And the one-on-one, the short out. Isaiah Simmons misses the tackle. And Debo is down, making it 3rd and 3. I don't love this. Sean Hazelwood is in zone coverage. We're going to bring him on a blitz here. And on the curl, they cannot connect. And instead, Gino is going to make them take the field goal to make it still a 2-possession game, but a 10-point game instead. And they missed. Oh, it goes back in. What a crazy. Wow, what a crazy curve on that kick. I thought that had no chance. Yeah, no, the wind is absolutely insane in this game, combined with the rain. Yeah, even this kickoff here is going sideways. Okay, good blocks on the outside. Brian Jackson almost had the opportunity to break one there. We start at the 27-yard line. Jake Zimmer coming back out, trying to regain some composure here on this drive. Gonna run the football. Again, we've done a good job of getting yards. It's just been the turnovers that have been kind of a killer, keeping them in this game. Good blocks on the edge. And finally, Hebert taken down after a pickup of 6. See if the defense bites, and it doesn't look like they did. Cooper Kupp over the top, able to hold on to it. Give that first down at the 42-yard line. Gonna try a little strong power out of the pistol. With Hebert here, we got Jawan Johnson and Quentin Posey leading the way. We cut it back up the middle. Hebert doing a good job, having great ball carrier vision, taking it down to the 35. Gonna see if we can get it to Jamison somehow. In the seam, and it is zone coverage. Another inaccurate pass. I'm not sure what's going on with Jake Zimmer. It's now gonna be 3rd and 2. I don't know if we can trust him to make throws in this weather. Again, ideally we wouldn't have to make throws, but we challenged Jamison to come out here and rack up some yards. Oh, a great stiff arm by Lionel Hebert, and he actually gets the first down pickup despite getting hit 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage on the play. Great job fighting for extra yards, throwing a D lineman off of him. Out of pistol again, a little play action. And we don't really have anything open. Trying to throw it away, but we take another sack. On 2nd and 21, we're sending Brian Jackson on a go here. And it looks like we might have had Cooper, but we cannot get the throw off. We're facing pressure. We got to throw it away. Can't take another sack and get us out of field goal range permanently. Going to try to abuse the seams on this play again. And Jameson is open. Can we get it to him? Almost picked off again. I don't know what's going on with Jake Zimmer's, not only his accuracy, but his throw power. That ball took forever to get to Jameson. Just enough time for the safety to get in there. And we're going to see if we can make this field goal. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to. It's winding left, and it's no good. That was a 60-yarder. That was definitely going to be tough. Probably outside of our range. Maybe should have considered punting it or going for it with this weather. But, yeah, no, the kicks right now are crazy. All right, we're bringing Christian Harris and Sean Hazelwood off the edge. And Sean Hazelwood has a one-on-one with a running back and cannot get past him, unfortunately. Chad Lindsey with an injury. And we're trying to find different ways, scheme up different ways for Sean Hazelwood to continue to get some sacks. But maybe we should focus more on the entire team. It's not like we're getting Sean Hazelwood a dev upgrade anymore. Springs with the run, finally tackled down, I believe by Baron Browning. And Brian O'Neill, their right tackle, going down with an injury. 2nd and 5, bringing a big man blitz here. We got a lot of people that are going to drop down, try to get a sack here on Gino. Bringing it up the middle, and oh, Walls with a chance to get his first pick. But he's got some brick hands. He's got some brick wall hands, just absolutely dropping a free interception. Has his hands similar to Jamal Adams. Christian Harris on the coverage. Walls this time getting beat by Debo, who picks up the first down, takes it down to the 19-yard line. 1st and 10, a run by Springs. We try to get there. Walls misses the tackle. Isaiah Simmons finally in pursuit, able to tackle Springs for a gain of 9, making it 2nd and 1 from the 10-yard line. In 4-3 right now. Not doing a great job of stopping the run. We might need to bring out 5-2 again, or 4-6. That's been working super well. We missed the tackle. Instead, Isaiah Simmons and Sertan are there to finally make the tackle as Mason picks up 5 yards. That's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. All right, to start the 4th quarter, we're bringing a cover 2 defense out right now. Really, this is more like a zone blitz. And we get pressure immediately on Springs. Nice run defense stuffed by Nate Vasher, who is typically only seen in plays where he's rushing the passer. Finally makes a play, shedding his block, and doing a great job stopping the run. Watching over the middle, that is normally Simmons' assignment, but we were on the left side, and they're able to squeeze in for the touchdown, making it a 3-point game. Jonathan Springs doing a lot on that possession to keep that drive alive. All right, we're going to have to try and get a little gritty here, not getting a lot of yards on offense, and we're going to try to QB power with Jake Zimmer, who's done a good job running the football in this game. Good blocks, trying to get to the inside. Couldn't make up our minds, only pick up a yard on the play. On 2nd and 9, we're going to let Brian Jackson run the football. Good blocks. Brian Jackson following his blockers, almost able to make something more out of it, making it 3rd and 1 on the play. On 3rd and 1, they have no linebackers over the middle, making this an easy run opportunity for Jackson. Getting double teams on the O-line, and we pick up the first down pretty easily. Again, not sure what that defense was on a 3rd and short situation. They didn't expect us to run the football, I suppose. A little play action here. We got Jameson in the one-on-one. We toss it up for Jameson to make a play, and that might... Oh, he dropped it! Oh, my God. He dropped the ball. I can't believe it. That was the freest catch, and we could have possession caught it, but I thought for sure he'd be able to hold on to the football. Brian Jackson taking it up the middle, picking up 4 yards, making it 3rd and manageable. And yeah, just a uncharacteristic drop there from Jameson, but I suppose the weather is affecting him a little bit. We're going to go ahead, drop back in. Oh, we're in the gun, and we take a sack on 3rd and 6. We did not have our eyes on anything but Jameson on the seam, and that is their 6th sack of the game. Done a really poor job of finding receivers quickly. I think it's partially because we've been just trying to force it to Jameson so much, trying to get him 150 receiving yards, and that's going to hurt our overall offensive game plan. We are definitely in a position right now where we could be losing the game. just because we have not done enough offensively. Run here by Montgomery up the middle and breaking several tackles, almost picking up the first. Making it 2nd and 1. I don't love this play. They're in the gun. Could be a run again here. And it is. Montgomery out to the left. Trey Hendrickson doing a great job tackling him for a loss, seemingly. Making it 3rd and 1. Now we have Hazelwood dropping back into coverage. I don't love this play. 3rd and 1. Hazelwood dropping back. 6'5" is huge. Surtain trying to go get the tackle on Tyler Conklin. He does, but actually it was Simmons who makes the tackle, but they do pick up the first down. Dropping into cover 3. Again, Hazelwood in coverage. This is unusual for him for sure. Watching underneath. The deep middle, though, was wide open. Luckily, an inaccurate ball from Geno Smith. 2nd and 10. Hazelwood dropping back at 6'5" again. Oh, he almost had the opportunity to pick it off. Instead, it's going to be a loss of 5. I don't know why Debo held onto that ball. A bad pass from Geno to Debo. And Debo had to just go up and get it. Otherwise, that was going out of bounds or getting picked. 3rd and 5, we're dropping into man coverage. We're in dollar right now, which is a little bit aggressive, I think, in terms of pass coverage. You probably don't need this much pass coverage. Over the middle, Geno fighting pressure off. Reed missing it, but it's going to be incomplete, and they're going to punt the ball away. Despite being on the 44, I guess it makes sense if it's 4th and 15. They still have another opportunity to try to get a stop on our offense, which they've done a pretty good job of doing in this game. Jackson on the return. Get some good blocks. Kind of following them. Getting it up to the 25 almost. Jamison has still not had a single catch here to get him to this 150 receiving yard mark since he got up to 108. But here's a chance for him to get some yards. Making it 2nd and 5 on the play. On 2nd and 5, we're bringing Cooper Kupp in motion. And Cooper is left wide open underneath. Got to give it to him. He's got the one-on-one. He's gritty enough to pick up the first down. On 1st and 10, we got Jamison over the middle, but it's a bad ball, an inaccurate pass from Jake Zimmer again, and David Long able to get the interception, or Devin Lloyd actually getting the interception at the 26-yard line. Dropping into coverage, and they throw an incompletion, making it 2nd and 10. We've thrown so many interceptions. They have a little bit of momentum, which is annoying in Green Bay because I can't even see my defensive coverages or my audibles. Extremely frustrating to even have to look at. Stokes playing great coverage. Geno getting pressured. Finally throwing the incompletion. On 3rd and 10, we're in cover 2 man. We're going to go ahead and let our pass rush do the work for us. Could call a timeout here. I do want Hazelwood in on this play, but just let it go. Christian Harris trying to make the tackle. KJ Hamler finally getting tackled down by Isaiah Simmons, making it 4th and 1. And they don't need to go for it. Let's see if they do. They're going to go ahead and take the field goal. And they're just going to tie it up. We're not going to call a timeout. It's fine. We got 3 timeouts remaining, and we probably should have called one, but it's okay. They do make the field goal despite the weather. And yeah, in Green Bay, with this weather, we cannot rely on a field goal. We have to go down there and try to score a TD, which again has been a struggle for us with only 13 points on the board. Brian Jackson on the return up to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10, we're coming out in something a little unorthodox in Wildcat. We got Brian Jackson here on the sweep. Able to hold on to it, trying to get to the edge, trying to fight back inside, but we probably should have just kept it outside. We're going to call our timeout. A bad play call, but a little less risky than what we've been doing. Throwing the football with Jake Zimmer has shown to be incredibly risky in this game. Jackson with a big hole. Oh, almost able to break away up to the 36. We're going to go no huddle. Going to speed things up a little bit. And Jamison, I love him on this route. Absolutely. Over the middle. Holding on to it this time. Calling another timeout down at the 43. We're almost in field goal range. Looking at the one-on-one with Jamison. And trying to get it over the top. Instead, it's going to be incomplete. Making it 2nd and 10. And Jamison needs 15 more yards. Only 15 more. Underneath, holding on to it with a possession catch, an inaccurate ball from Jake Zimmer. It doesn't matter. And that should be enough. 1 for the field goal, and 2, Jamison's going to get above 150, which is nice to see. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout once it gets down to 3. And so we're able to complete that for him. Really, was it worth it? Probably not, because I think that, if anything, this has hurt the rest of the team way more than it was worth for Jameson, because Jameson got 150 receiving yards. He's going to get some XP, yada, yada, yada. But, okay, this is the one thing, is this field goal is going to be so difficult to make. But Jake Zimmer threw multiple interceptions, which is, again, continuing to hurt kind of his stats for the season. And we're trying to keep him under a certain amount. They're suggesting, I think, right now that we don't go for the field goal, but we're going to try to make this. I'm actually worried that we won't make this. Okay, before I release it, you know, we didn't get Brian Jackson or Lionel Hebert nearly as involved as we should have. Posey didn't get the ball as much. Cooper Kupp didn't get the ball as much. But if we make the field goal and win the game, at least we can get out of here. Okay, we're going to release it. Oh, and it's wide right. Oh, my God. I even angled it left. And it still went right. I can't believe it. We're going into OT. So, again, kind of like I said, we should not have trusted the kicking game. All right, at least we have the coin toss. We're going to go tails. Tails never fails. And we're going to receive. Again, this is regular season. It's not playoffs, which means that we have the opportunity to win this game. If we come out and score a touchdown on our first drive, which, again, we are going for a TD no matter what. We're not even going to try a field goal again. We've missed so many field goals. We're just not doing it again. Brian Jackson on the return. Can he make something happen? And instead, we get blocked. We get a defender blocked right into us. All right, this is where legends are made. Playing in a hostile environment in really bad weather conditions. You've had a bad game. Can we come out here with Jake Zimmer and put together a game-winning drive? Jackson getting hit in the backfield for a 4-yard loss. Horrible start to the drive. Looks like we're going to have potentially Posey on the crosser. Posey is open. It's an inaccurate passing. It's intercepted again. I got to see what happened on this play. I thought Posey was wide open. It's an overthrow. See, so he's got plenty of time. There's no pressure. He's got the one-on-one, and he just completely overthrows Quentin Posey, which makes no sense. Okay, so we've got Jameson on the one-on-one up top. Posey is wide open, breaking on his crosser. And again, no one is within like 5 yards of Jake Zimmer. He's just sitting here, just throwing the football, and throws it right over Posey's head and right to the safety. We didn't do a high point pass. We just did a regular pass to Posey. And it went right to, who is this here? It went right to Dwight Davis, their second-year, first-round corner that was covering Jameson on the play. All right, they just need to run the football, get a field goal here. They're at the 37. They're basically in range. The only thing we can rely on is the fact that the weather is terrible. Sean Hazelwood with a huge tackle for loss. We're going to continue to stay in some big formations here and dare them to throw the ball. And they are going to throw it here. Watching the corner, watching underneath. It's going to be out of bounds. And I actually feel we have a shot here. Again, this is going to be a difficult field goal attempt no matter what. Vasher, I've stuck on him. Over the top. And it's going to be out of bounds. So they're going to try the field goal, I bet. They are. We're going to call a timeout and see if we can ice them. And this is a big field goal. They're at home, but the weather is terrible. We haven't been able to consistently make field goals. It's a long one. Come on. And it's short. Oh my God, this has been a terrible game. No offense either way. This might be our first draw. But we're starting at the 38. Let's hope that we don't turn the ball over anymore. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just not putting Jake Zimmer in the position to throw a football. We're just going to run. And if we tie the game, we tie the game. And if we punt, we punt. And I cannot do it anymore. I cannot throw another pick. It's going to hurt Jake Zimmer's, confidence for one, but two, it's just going to kill those stats. A great run. Picking up a couple of yards. Could have gotten more out of that play. 3rd and 6 now. And we're going to go read option. If we punt, we punt. It is what it is. We're going to burn a little bit of time. Okay. Brian Jackson. Doing a great job getting us the first down pickup on the keeper, or on the handoff there from Jake Zimmer. 1st and 10, we're going to get it back to Hebert. We're just going to ride Hebert and Jackson, trying to get us to a victory here. Great blocks on the edge. Still cut it inside when I thought they were getting pushed out. Again, letting Hebert run the football. We're not going to worry about passing at all. 3rd and 6. All right, on 3rd and 6, Brian Jackson in the Wildcat position. Going to run power with him and see if we can pick up this first. Good blocks outside. We should have cut it up. Instead, we lose 4 yards. And we're from the 44, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and punt. I don't even care. We're going to try to coffin kick them. And we're going to try to angle this super left because it's going to come right. And, okay, it's going to... Can we get to him? Okay, he's down at the 25. And they have a minute and a half to try to drive down the field. I'm hoping they're going to try to pass the football, because that might give us another chance to come out here and get the win. But if not, we're going for the draw. Again, this is the weirdest game. Dropping back into coverage is Christian Harris. We get the sack. Great job by Nate Vasher getting the pressure on Gino. We're going to call a timeout here, make it 2nd and 23. We're going to see what they do. They're in the gun. They got 3 receivers out left. We're in a little bit of a jumbo formation here. Probably should be switching it up a little bit. Now, it looks like Rondale Moore is lined up at tight end. Looks like they're trying to get a mismatch. Rondale Moore out of bounds. And now that we're in cover 3, just watching for stuff over the middle, deep part of the field, and we get another sack, this time by Shelby Harris. We don't have a timeout to get. It's 4th and 30, and I expect them to try to burn clock because they might be going for this draw now too. But they're kicking it out of the back of their own end zone from the 6, and all we need to do is try to get in field goal range. Of course, we don't want a field goal. We want a touchdown. But if we have to take a field goal to try to win this game, we will. I think worst case scenario, we are going to go for a Hail Mary. Run here by Hebert. Good blocks. Yeah, speed things up. Only got 30 seconds. Throwing it downfield. We got Posey in the seam. Able to hold on to it. We only got 70 seconds left. We got to snap it quick. We got no timeouts. Oh, no. Oh, no. We don't get it off in time, and it is going to be a tie with the Packers. We got it down the seam to Posey on the last play, but you could not get another snap off in time. Probably should have spiked it one time to conserve a little bit of time trying to get a sideline pass or something out of bounds. But ultimately, we're just taking what we can get passing-wise. We were not able to complete anything in the second half of this game. Luckily, we got one pass off to Jameson to get him over 150 receiving yards. But, yeah, no, we definitely should have committed to the run way more in this game. That is what really killed us, just passing a little too much with this crazy weather. And I have never been a part of a Madden weather game like this where it completely prevented me from being able to throw the football. Hebert had a better rating than Jake Zimmer off of his one little jet touch pass to Brian Jackson. Anyways, Zimmer finished 16 for 30, way too many passes again, obviously. 280 passing yards, 2 TDs, 4 picks. Perhaps his worst game of his career, but to be honest, it wasn't completely his fault. It was partially because of the weather, and it just slowed down some of the balls. It made some of the balls inaccurate. Hebert with 11 carries for 28 yards, just kind of like fighting for as many yards as he could get. Brian Jackson doing a great job on the ground as well. Ultimately, we just had to kind of force the ball on the ground the last couple of drives because we just could not risk throwing it anymore. Jameson with 158 receiving yards, playing very well, but again, it was a bit of a force getting him the ball. We ultimately threw several picks trying to get him the ball. Posey with 3 catches for 58 yards, getting a lot of his yards on that last play. Cooper with 3 catches for 35 and a TD, and not much else. Jackson with only 1 catch for 3 yards. And defensively, leading the way in tackles was Isaiah Simmons. Nate Vasher had an outstanding game with 1 sack. Trey Henderson with a sack, and Shelby Harris with a sack as well. Tariq with 2 interceptions. DeMarcus with 1 interception as well. Something that you do not see very often. And no forced fumbles and no defensive touchdowns. After the game, getting some upgrades. Damon Clark getting 1. We're going to boost his field general. That gets him almost up to a 70. It's going to boost his change of direction, his play rec, and his zone. His zone is now up to a 61, which is okay. Moses Brackett, who does not see the field very often ever since we got Brian Jackson, and Antoine Andrews has kind of taken over the wide receiver 3 role, but he's out with injury. Moses Brackett getting an upgrade. We're going to boost his playmaker. Again, a very speedy, short wide receiver, boosting his break tackle, juke, medium route, and short route. Antoine Andrews getting an upgrade despite not playing, being out with injury. Going to boost his deep threat, and he's up to a 74, almost a 75 overall. Catch and traffic, deep route, and medium route have been upgraded. So now his deep route is up to an 82, which you love to see. 90 spectacular catch, which is fantastic. And his catch and traffic is pretty high now, too, with the boost. So loving how that's coming along. And then lastly, Trey Hendrickson getting an upgrade, having a fantastic game, getting 1 sack and some tackles for loss as well. Boosting him up to an 87 overall with the speed rush upgrade, boosting his speed, his pursuit, his tackle, his play rec, and his hit power. And still with 85 speed and 89 excel is very good at the age of 29. He's going to start to regress soon. Only normal dev, unfortunately. But looking at some of the goals after the game, let's see. So, yeah, Jameson got what he needed. And so that earned him +3 catch and traffic, which, was it worth it? Probably not. It probably wasn't worth it. Now, taking a look and reacting to the rivalry game, you're talking about how we tied, so both teams leave confused and bewildered after a rare tie. Yeah, that was just a crazy weather game. I've not ever seen anything like that in this game. And lastly, now they're talking about like it was a tough loss, even though it wasn't. So all quarterbacks are going to have -3 short, medium, deep throw for the next game, which makes it even worse. His accuracy is going to be hurt for next game. But I hope you guys enjoyed. That was a very weird game, seeing the weather affect how we threw the ball so much. But it made for definitely an interesting finish. Thank you guys so much for watching. In the next game, we're going to be playing against the Dolphins, which is a rematch from Season 1, and Lamar Jackson is their quarterback, so that will be a fun game. But I look forward to playing that, and appreciate you guys for sticking around through the rest of the video and watching. If you're not subscribed already, make sure to subscribe so you see all of my newest videos coming up. Anyways, peace, guys.